So the new PUMA King 20 here is a lot better than before, but is it good enough to really get the King line back on track? Well, I've had the boot and tested it for a while now, and in today's video I'll tell you what it does well and also not so well to hopefully help you decide if you should buy a pair of these or not. And as always, I'm JayMike and this is my review of the PUMA King 20. So the new King is the 20th generation of the PUMA King, and after a few years of slightly underwhelming King models, the new one has to deliver. So PUMA have decided to scrap their K-better upper and replace it with a much softer material called Total Touch Plus. Also, it's built on a new, wider last, and all of that is done in the name of a better fit and improved comfort. And I'll give it to PUMA right off the bat, the new Total Touch Plus upper here is just like a huge improvement on the K-better uppers that we saw on the King Ultimates from 2023 and 2024, because it just feels a lot softer. Quite simply, it's a lot more pliable and it just feels a lot more likely to mold easily around your foot straight out of the box. And the good thing is that it does. It's like butter around your foot. It also has this really nice foamy padding on the inside, a nice soft liner, meaning that stepping into the boot just feels really easy and very welcoming. For me, the PUMA King Mirai 2 has been like the golden standard for uppers on PUMA boots for a while, and the new Total Touch package here comes really close to it. It just feels broken in right from the get-go, and the best thing is that it only gets softer the more you wear it. And for me, this is easily the best upper on an inline PUMA boot since the first King Platinum and the Ultra 1.1, so I'm really happy with this upgrade. I mean it. It's lovely. It is absolutely lovely. But of course, the new last here also plays a huge factor when it comes to the fit and the comfort. And as I mentioned before, it's just a lot wider and has a lot more volume in the toe box compared to previous Kings, meaning that it's also just more accommodating to put on your foot. And to think that you've gone from the very uber narrow, very streamlined, tight-fitting fit in the PUMA King Ultimate 23, which to be fair, shape-wise fit my relatively narrow foot quite well, but to go from that to this will be a huge step in the right direction for a lot of people, because there's just way more room inside of this. And yes, there is also more boot, and you might think it's just a wide-fitting boat. It's not, but it just feels a lot more easy to step into. There's more room for your foot to just go inside the boot and feel comfortable. And I'd say it's just a more cozy, accommodating, anatomical shape than most other modern boots. But the new shape also has called for a little bit of adaptation from my side, because I'm still getting used to the height of the toe box after being used to wearing these modern boots with lower, more pointy toe boxes for a long time. But still, there's no denying that it's very comfortable and just distractionless. Now personally, I probably would have gone for a slightly less high volume in the toe box and maybe made it ever so slightly wider instead to really allow the toes to spread out. But the bottom line is that it is very comfortable. And I think you get that by now, so I'll stop talking about it. Now, shape-wise, I reckon that this will do well for basically most foot shapes out there. Again, it is on the wider side. It does have a lot of volume in the toe box, so there will just be room for more foot shapes basically to fit inside. Now personally, I have a medium to narrow foot, and I do have a little bit of extra space and potential for more width in the midfoot. So again, I reckon it will do well for people with wide or even flatter feet. And then there's the sizing, which I don't know what PUMA are on about. It is weird. Again, it runs half a size small for me, so I would strongly recommend that you go up half a size to get the best possible fit. Because going true to size in this, I mean, it's lucky that the upper is so soft and there's so much volume in the forefoot, because otherwise going true to size would be painful, to say the least. Go up half a size. But I've saved the best about the fit for last, because as good as the Total Touch Plus upper is, for me, it's the heel package that takes the cake. And it is a very delicious cake, my friends. See, what you get here is Ortholite's foam called Custom Fit, which is not only a really soft and plush foam that feels lovely to step into, but it also molds to the shape of your heel, meaning that the more you wear it, the more you get a really personal custom fit. Hence the name. It feels so nice. Personally, I love a stitch and turn collar. It just envelops the heel so nicely, and it has a good little pinch right about there to hold the heel nicely in place. Also meaning that the lockdown with the suede liner is solid. It gives you what you need. Does it look bulky? Yes. But is it cozy and comfortable? Also yes. And to me, this might be one of the best fitting, at least the most comfortable heel packages that I can think of, full stop, which is really cool. Now, as for lockdown, I would say it's just about adequate. Again, the wider fit means that personally, I have a little bit of space inside the boot for my foot to move around in. But if you go and you use the last lace loop, do the runner's loop, and you wear grip socks to work with the nano grip insole, you will be fine. So it's not fantastic, but it's not a red flag either.
But the upper is called Total Touch Plus, which is a pretty promising name. So is it the complete touch experience then?
Well, yes and no. See, given that the upper has a healthy amount of foam on the inside of the Total Touch Plus upper package here, it has this really soft and cushion and almost like feathery elegance on the ball, which is really nice if you're into that, and it feels extremely like pillowy to the touch. But it might also feel a little bit exaggerated if you're coming from a football boot with a thinner upper, which there are a lot of these days. Now, don't get me wrong, it does feel very nice and has an extremely unique characteristic. And I like the fact that Puma have kind of chosen a side here and gone for that pillowy elegance instead of just getting stuck in the middle. Now, also, of course, you have a little bit of micro texturing here and there, but for me, the big deal about the feel of the upper is this slightly matte, sticky finish on the upper, which just adds a little bit of extra stickiness when you're on the ball. It's not a Predator or Phantom 6 grip knit-like, but it just gives that little hint of just a little bit of stick, especially when you dribble, which in most cases is relatively nice, especially on a slightly wet pitch like today. But if you're on a dry pitch with a new sticky match ball like the Puma Orbital or the Adidas Trionda or the Select Brilliant Super, it can sometimes also feel a little bit too sticky where or I did at least, I got stuck on the ball a couple of times, almost fell over. So there's a little bit of a learning curve in those conditions. So it's not the most razor sharp close feel to the ball, but nice and padded, and I can respect that. Now, as for the outsole, it's pretty smooth sailing with these half conical, rounded triangle shaped studs with a flat surface to give you a little bit more bite when you push off. And cool, I mean, it feels fine. But personally, I'm not sure I 100% feel it rhymes with that slightly more cozy, comfortable feel of the upper. And would probably have thought of a fully conical stud shape as a more natural choice. But then again, it feels fine, has a reasonably stable midfoot, and I can't be too mad about it. It works.
But of course, you know the deal. The King 20 is not perfect. So here are 4 annoying things that you also need to know about.
And the first thing is that, according to Puma at least, this outsole is FG-AG. And it's not. It's an FG outsole where you won't lose your warranty if you use it on artificial grass. Which means that for the sake of your joints, and especially for your knees, if you do play on artificial grass pitches, get a dedicated AG boot instead. I mean, this is no safer to use on AG than any other FG boot just because Puma put AG in the name. Can we please end this trend? It's stupid. And as I mentioned, the boot also has a little bit more bulk and volume to it, meaning that if you're used to wearing a slightly more streamlined or thinner boot, there might be a little bit of a bigger learning curve to get used to the thicker upper, and there's just more boot. And that might not be for everyone. And then there is the knit tongue, which is actually rather lovely to be fair to it, but the things I would have done to get a regular old school floating tongue instead, to give you an even more customizable fit. And I asked myself, what would they have done in Japan, where comfort and fit reign supreme? And they would, of course, have gone for a floating tongue. And I mean, it's there on the King Mirai too, and it's wonderful with that deeper lacing, and it fits so well. So why not here? I mean, the potential was... And I'm not gonna lie, the sizing is really annoying. So if we compare the King 20 to the Ultra 6 Ultimate, both are a Japanese size 25 centimeters, which is what I wear true to size. But if we look at the insoles, you know, the length and the fit is wildly off, and it just makes it really, really difficult to find your right size in a Puma boot, even within the brand. Like, can you just fix your bloody sizing, Puma? Please.
But despite those niggles, I feel the King 20 is a big step forward. It does what it sets out to do in its own way, and while it might not be for everyone, I think it's a huge improvement.
So while this might not sweep me off my feet with some sort of crazy innovation, it's just a really straightforward and very, very comfortable football boot with a new upper and heel construction that just feels ridiculously nice on your foot. And it's a genuinely viable alternative to all the other comfortable modern heritage boots out there. And if you're looking for something that's just comfortable and elegant and feel as if you're just caressing the ball, it's actually a really nice option. But guys and girls, what do you think? Is the King finally back? Well, let me know in the comment section right down below. Remember that you can get the King 20 in the link to Unisport right over there. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, well, go and do so. And with those words, I'll be signing off. Cheerio.